Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. Doing stand-up. Very excited to be opening for Doug Stanhope this Saturday at Foxwoods in Connecticut. Then I will be in Vegas with Comedians of the Compound next weekend, September 10th and 11th at the Plaza Hotel, the Comedy Works Club down there. And then the weekend after that, I will be in Texas headlining Hyenas in Dallas, September 17th and 18th, doing 4 shows out there. Then I will be back in Jersey, October 16th, the Blue Claws Stadium out there in Lakewood with Comedians of the Compound. Then I'll be heading to California, October 22nd and 23rd, doing 4 shows in Santa Monica at the Broadway Comedy Club West with Sam Tripoli and Bridget Fedesi. For details and tickets, go to chrissiemayr.com. Quick shout out to our new sponsor. Man, I'm excited about this one. We all know dating apps are terrible. They're superficial, they're face swiping apps, and there are quote unquote expert matching apps. Both usually waste your time. The solution is values based matching. If you're conservative, things probably aren't going to work out with someone who's a total lefty, and vice versa. Same with religion, lifestyle, how to raise kids, and other core values. Sure, anybody might be able to change to meet you where you are, but why not just find the perfect match right from the start? Drum, am I saying it wrong? Drum or Drum? Drum is a free new values-based dating app. You pick deal breakers and deal makers. There are no experts, no match percentages, and you don't have to addictively check the app. As soon as someone matches your deal breakers and deal makers and you match theirs, you get a notification. And if you find something that's important to you, you can add it anonymously. Drome is also video only for more human interaction. Go to drome.com/CMP in your phone's browser. Click the iOS or Google install button and use the invite code CMP to sign up. It's free, guys. If you support the show, if you like me, give it a whirl. Just go to drome.com/CMP. Check it out for free. Why not? If you're single, you have nothing to lose. Just that sweet, sweet ass. If you're already matched up, tell your friends. Get your partner to tell their friends. That's DROM.date/CMP. Design and meet your perfect match. It's free to use. Oh boy. Also, quick shout out to cushydreams.com. They are my go-to for all things CBD related. They specialize in high quality CBD bud and pre-rolls. I personally really love the pre-rolls. It's helped me a lot with my anxiety over the last year and a half. As you can see here, they have different indica sativa blends like relax, create, energy, dream, hustle. So whatever you want to do with your day, Cushy Dreams has you covered. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. Enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. These products have under 0.3% THC in them. So, and you're not going to get the munchies. Cushydreams.com, KUSHY dreams.com. Use promo code CMP at checkout to get 20% off plus free shipping. Okay, enough of that. Woo! I'm so excited to have this gal on the podcast today. I'm always excited to talk to fellow comedians. Don't get me wrong. I love my porn stars. I love my political peeps. But nothing like chopping it up with another comedian. She most recently was performing at the Ford Theater, actually this past Sunday. Very excited to have her on, talking about the comedy issues of the day. Lila Hart, hello, girlfriend.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. We're doing coffee. Oh, you're a tea girl. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
What
got
kind
my
of
green
tea?
tea. And I apologize for my parakeets. I've got 3 parakeets over here, and I gave them some treats. I thought they'd behave, so hopefully they calm down.
Oh, well, like the only thing I know about birds is if you throw like a blanket over the cage, they'll go to sleep. I've tried that with other animals and with like, my nieces and nephews, and it doesn't work. So yeah. Yeah. Cool, cool. Lila, I God, where do we begin? So tell me about this special show that you were on this past Sunday. It was like an all Filipino
Yes,
show.
it was called Pinoy Attainment, and it was a Filipino American show where we had different Filipina rappers, musicians, comedians, and kind of just like an all-star show. And it was so incredible because it was at the Ford Amphitheater, at the outside amphitheater. My family was there to watch me. And it was the first time that my sister and her husband and my nephew, he was there with his girlfriend. My aunt was there. My mom was there. So it was even
Oh
more.
my gosh, big deal. Yeah.
My fiance was there, and his parents saw me for the first time. It was the first time they'd ever seen me on stage. So that was
Wow.
so incredible. And, it was so powerful for me because this last month has been extremely difficult for me and my family. We lost my aunt the Tuesday before my show
Oh
in
gosh.
Louisiana. She was in a car accident on August 12th, and she was on life support. And I flew out to Louisiana to see her and be with my dad and be with my family out there. And, we pulled the plug on her, and it was really just so tragic for our family. But my family really wanted me to come out into the show to do the show, and it really just shows me that's how powerful comedy and how important it is. Because to become a comedian and to do comedy as a comedian, like, it's your job to be funny even when you don't feel like being funny. And I didn't necessarily feel like being funny on Sunday, but I just felt like the energy from the crowd, and looking up at the no ceiling of the amphitheater, I just imagined in my mind that my aunt had front row tickets in heaven, and it just was such a powerful show. And to make my family laugh after everything we've gone through was just so meaningful.
That's incredibly meaningful. Did you ever so how many days was it from, like, when you pulled the plug to when she passed? Like, how long did that take?
Tuesday. So it happened on Tuesday, and then she ended up passing on Thursday, and then my show was on
On
Sunday.
Sunday? Oh god. That's really difficult. Did you at any point think, like, "I can't do this show, like, I'm gonna be too upset," or what?
I know that my aunt would want me to do it. She was a very funny, happy-go-lucky person and had the most amazing spirit. So I knew I
Mhm.
could carry that with me on stage. And like I said, being able to make my family like laugh the way that they did after all the tears and the sadness we had gone through as a family was just, it was so exhilarating. And it just, that's life. And that's where great comedy comes from. It comes from pain. And we show people that even through pain, we can find the beauty. And through that, you can help others heal, because we're all hurting right now collectively. And so I knew I had to do it. I had to do it for my family. I had to do it for my aunt, and I had to do it for everybody in the audience who just needed that real laughter and that joy. And the show was just so incredible because not only did we had comedians, we had musicians, we had Ruby Ibarra, she's a Filipino rapper, we had Jules Aurora, she's a Filipino singer, and it was beautiful. The whole night was just so beautiful.
Wow, that's really amazing, and I'm amazed that you were able to, like, pull it together, and it sounds like you crushed it and did really well. Like, I remember through when my mom died in 2018, I live in suburbs outside New York City, and I was like, well, I mean, I knew it was coming. I knew she had, like, terminal brain cancer. Like, she'd been getting, like, steadily worse since April, and it was, like, August. She passed on August 2nd. I remember, like, the day she passed, I just was like I went through this, like, "Oh, well, I have 2 spots tonight, and I knew this was coming." Like, I was trying to rationalize my way through it. Like, I was even still, like, on my way to do a day job at the time. Like, I was like, "Oh, I should be able to go. Of course, I knew this was coming." And then, like, on the train ride in, I just, like I got, like, just a few stops, and I just, like, couldn't stop crying. I had to get off, and even then, I was like, "I could pull it together and go in the city later," and I did, and it was like I don't even bomb is not even the right word for what happened on stage. Like, it was just me talking about, like, how my mom had died that morning. People in the crowd were like, they didn't think I was actually being real. They thought it was like a joke somehow. I'm like, it ended up just me just rambling and like getting it was so bad. And I was so not funny. It was such a hot mess. And looking back, I'm like, shit, I should have realized that I could just take a night off, and I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, but what happened in the months afterwards is like all this space opened up, right? That I was stressing out about, like, her and her health, I think, and then it ultimately made me a better person because I was spending more time on myself instead of, like, you know, worrying. And it's really amazing that you were able to go through that and so soon after be able to do such a big show, because I know what that feels like. And you're like, do I address it on stage? Do I not? But yeah, that's really, I agree with you so much. And you're like, people really do need to laugh. Like, it's amazing. Like, you'll go to shows and you'll meet, and I'm sure you talk to the people after, and you're like, this was the first show I've been to or been out in however many months. Or people need to laugh. So it's so important. And like, I don't know. I
It
don't talk
is so
about it
important.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so important. And when people came up to me after the show and just thanked me for, talking about some of the things that I talked about and how much joy that it brought them, that to me was like, it felt so good because, I that was only the third time I've been on stage all year,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was asked to do 20 minutes. So I was like, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give it my all. I am going to prepare for this show like I have never prepared before. And some of the things that I did, like, when we used to go out every night in 2019 to do comedy, I could just go up there, have like bullet points in my head. This is what I'm going to say, and just kind of like riff with the audience. But this time, I listened to every single recording that I'd had of my favorite sets, and then I picked out some of the best bits that I really worked on for the last 5 years that I was ready to showcase in front of 800 people,
Wow.
and then
800 people. Holy crap.
and then I put it together in like this storyline that I could wrap it up, and so that I could have that confidence. And on my roof, I've got 300 plants. That's what I've done the last year and a half, is become this ultra like plant lady. But I have all these plants up there, and I just had this spatula, and I'm performing for the plants, and I was just giving it my all and just praying that, on the night of the 29th, that I could just, summon all the strength and just do my best, because I know that I put in the work for it, and I actually worked really hard, because like I said, it wasn't just for me, it's for my aunt, it's for everybody who's struggling, because a lot of people have lost a lot this year, and so it was like, I don't want to be a victim, I want to be a victor. I want to show people that you can be brave and you can be strong. And you know it was so powerful, and I'm just so grateful that, because there was that moment, I did have that moment where I was kind of just like fearful, like, do I do this? I feel fearful. What if I bomb? Because I'm so emotional. And honestly, I just gave it to God. I just gave it to God. Please give me the bravery, and once I did that, it was like, I can do anything. And I went up there, and it was magical. And the best feeling was hearing my family laugh,
Mm.
because I had known the sadness we have all gone through, and the tragedy of losing my aunt the way that we did. And to see that level of grief with my family, and then to be able to bring them joy, it's just amazing.
Yeah. That's so emotional, and it sounds like you crushed it. And at that point, it's like, yeah, you've done all this preparation, and it's like that the preparation plus, like you said, giving it up to God, like that does carry you through when you have moments where you're like, oh God, is the emotion gonna like take me over on stage? Am I gonna be distracted? Am I gonna, fuck it
Mhm.
up? And
I had to remind myself that, you know what, I've been doing. So the show was August 29th, which happened to be my nephew's 15th birthday. I started comedy on February 10th, which is my sister's birthday, 5 years ago. And I was the fifth person on the lineup. And for me, I look
Wow.
at signs,
Mhm.
even before coming on your podcast, I was upstairs on the roof, thinking about what we were going to talk about. And I saw this monarch butterfly. And I've never seen a butterfly like that fly into my garden. And I'm really spiritual. So I looked up online, what does that mean? And it was like, that was my aunt. I know that was my aunt.
Oh my god. You know, it's so crazy that you talk about monarch butterflies, like, ever since, like, my mom passed, like, I really did not notice monarch butterflies, but I swear to God, like, I am now seeing them. Not everywhere, but, like, when I have kind of, like,
Those
meaningful
moments, those
moments.
feelings, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also in places where it kind of comes out of nowhere, like, in places where you don't think there would be butterflies. Not, like, in the house, but, like, I totally believe in seeing signs like that, so that's really cool. And you've been doing stand-up for 5 years now, and it sounded like the Comedy Store was among the kind of, like, your regular spots, like, where else,
Well, it's like,
pre-pandemic would you
yeah,
like to go?
pre-pandemic, everybody's going to the store, you're hanging out. I had a lot of the shows I did was for Crack 'em Up Thursdays with Nichelle Murdoch, who I love so much on Thursday nights. She had one of the best shows there, and I did a lot of their anniversary shows. So it definitely was a hangout spot for me.
Are
You
you
know,
from LA? Like, born and
yeah,
raised? Mhm.
and I started stand up in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Marysville, Washington. I went to Washington State University. And then when I graduated, I moved down to California. But I started comedy in LA. So I remember when I first went to the Comedy Store and I was like, I'm a new comedian. And they're like, oh, okay, you can watch shows here. And, so I felt like the mayor there sometimes because I would just always say hi to everybody and you're hugging everybody. And it's just like, you know how it is. It's the hangout where you're always at. And so,
Yeah, you feel like in your element, you love seeing the same people all the time. It's like
and
you fall in love with the staff.
you
It's
know,
like it's the best.
yeah, the staff especially, you build a bond with them. You're seeing them every night. I used to say I'm not a paid regular at the store, but I'm paying regularly for these drinks.
Yeah.
Because you're just there all the time. And I with what's going on in LA right now, the Comedy Stores I saw online, this is like a few months ago, that they were requiring vaccination for audience members to watch the show, and I didn't think too much of it. I was like, they're not going to be doing that to performers, right? And what happened on Tuesday night was, after my show on Sunday, I was on an incredible high. The Ford Amphitheater was wonderful to me. They provided accommodation because of the fact that I am medically exempt, and I let them know that. And, I was allowed to perform, and it
You
wasn't an
showed them a
issue.
negative test,
And
right? You were
I also
like,
gave them
"Here."
a negative
Yeah.
COVID test, which I'm happy to provide. And, and I went above and beyond and also got a doctor's note, which is, I get they need that. That's a little, I did it. And so on Tuesday night, I was just feeling myself. After a big show, girl, you just feel like you just got that adrenaline. Like you can go for a couple days. So I just had this adrenaline. I'm like, I want to dress up. I just want to go to the Comedy Store. It's roast battle tonight. They were having roast battle, and I just want to see people I haven't seen in a while. Just kind of go out there.
Yeah.
So I went with my friend Alan Chow, and he had his vaccine card. And I was like, you know what? I have a negative COVID test with me. I've got my papers. I was like joking around, like, I got my papers. But in my head, I'm thinking they're not going to give me, I don't really see, like, they know me. They're not going to give me an issue, right? And we get there, and, everybody's wearing their masks and they're checking people. I see them turn away people who are trying to watch tickets to the show who don't have their vaccine card, so they can't go in. I approached the door guy, let him know my situation, and he's like, okay, this is above me. I need to contact somebody else. So he contacts somebody else. It takes them a while to get out there. So I'm just kind of like standing there,
Yeah.
making small talk with people. They come out. I let them know that, hey, I just performed at the Ford Theater on Sunday. I have a negative COVID test that I took Saturday that's here that says it was negative. And I also have paperwork from the Ford Theater where I'm medically exempt because of my disability. And, here's the thing. It's crazy to me that I even have to go into this much detail, and I need to let you know what exactly is going on with me and my
It's
body.
so invasive. It's
Yeah.
so
And
disgusting. Yeah.
so that's why in my post I was saying I say a lot about my disability on stage, but I want people to remember that it took me a long time to get to this point, to get to this level of confidence to want to talk about these certain things. But there are still some things I'd like to keep medically private, you know? And so everybody there was really nice. They were happy to see me because of course they recognized me, even the two people who came out. And I explained it to them, and they're very kind when they let me know, but they were just like, Lila, we have to go through a third party app with our lawyers and such. So we could take this, we could scan this, we could email this to them, then they could get back to us, and then we could get you that exemption. And I was just like, but it's like, that doesn't help for right now. And then they go and let me know, well, you know what, Roast Battle was canceled tonight because other performers didn't have their vaccination card. So we couldn't let them go.
Wow.
You're not the only one, And so then I was like, so does everybody that performs here, I just asked straight up, I'm talking to management, does everybody that perform here have to be vaccinated? They say yes. So, and everybody that watches, they say yes. And everybody that is working here must be vaccinated. And they say yes. And it was at that moment that I was like, that's when I started feeling like I have to let people know about this. I have to make a video about this. I'm looking cute as hell too. So everybody,
Yeah, you can't waste that outfit. It was so cute.
I had that black dress on.
Yeah.
That was so good. So and like I said, so my friend Alan was with me, and he is vaccinated, and he was willing to show his card, and he was baffled at the whole situation because he had come to my show at the Ford, and he had, you know what I'm saying? So,
Which is a much bigger venue, like 400, what's that, 800 seat
well,
theater?
it's 1,200 people, and then they had 800 people there.
Holy cow, that's huge.
So,
Wow.
yeah, and so as we were walking away, I just gave him my phone. I was like, can you just record me real quick? And just took that little video in one seg and let people know that, like, hey, this is what's happening here. So, and like I said, I have never on my Instagram gone public and said I'm not vaccinated, right? Or I'm not trying to push my belief system on anybody. And it was very interesting, some of the responses that I got from the from the different people. I want to say thank you for what you said. You know that I had the best attitude, and for me it was like, because there was this moment that I was a little bit afraid to post it because I took the video in one take, okay, and then we walked over to this like little bar area and just sat down, and I was like, am I going to post this? And then I had this like little voice in me that's like, yeah, you are, Lila, because you have to be brave.
It feels like coming out on it really
Yeah,
does.
it's like you have to be brave. And also I'm just letting you know my experience. This is just my experience, okay? This is what happened to me. I'm not pushing anything on you. And it's very interesting because some people were upset, like my friend Sylvia Sage. I love her so much. She's
I know Sylvia. Yeah.
Awesome. We went to Nashville together and we performed a couple shows, and she was I don't think she hadn't read it correctly, where she thought, she's like, oh my gosh, Lila, you just have to give them a negative COVID test. It's not that big a deal. And I was like, girl, I had a negative COVID test with me and I had the papers, and that's not enough now. And then that's when she was like, oh, okay, like this is kind of going, but here's how I feel about it. People should be able to have a dialogue in the comments. I love that people are having a dialogue, doesn't matter what you believe. It's good to have these conversations, and we should be allowed to have these conversations. And so that's why for me, I was like, I don't care to have any conversation that you want. And I'm cool with everybody on here. So you guys can feud it out, however you want to discuss. But the one comment that did kind of hurt my feelings was when this girl was like, unfollow now. And I was just like, oh, that's so sad.
Anyone who goes out of their ways to say like, I'm unfollowing you, it's like they're doing it to like project. They're doing it to like virtue signal.
For me, it's like, nothing about me has changed. Nothing about me. Sorry about that really quick. Is that okay? Sorry, my sister.
Yeah, take it if you want. No.
No, me and my sister, we be talking like 10 times a day. We're always FaceTiming. She's like my best friend. My two sisters and my mom. It's like we're like a girl gang now. Aww. Anyways, what was I saying?
You were talking about
Oh my God, hold on.
um,
Oh goodness, let me just text her real quick.
okay.
I'm gonna
Talking
say,
about Sylvia Sage, you had the negative test, but still that wasn't good enough, and you felt like a voice inside you was like, "You have to kind of be out about this."
yeah, you have to be brave because it's important for people to have these discussions, you know. And the reason that when the girl wrote, that's it, I'm unfollowing, was upsetting to me because it was like, nothing about me has changed. I'm just telling you my experience. And you know what? At the end of the day, I have family who loves me unconditionally, and I've got friends who know my heart and who know where I'm coming from. You know, because like if you want to get the vaccine, that's for you. If you don't want to get the vaccine, that should also be for you. It's my body, it's my choice of what I want to do. And the fact that it's become so invasive, where now I have to show you why I'm medically exempt. You know, it's like, damn, I thought me talking about having spina bifida and doing all this stuff on stage was enough for you guys, and now I have to have even more. It's just it's a little bit comical, you know. And it's just like, I there are so many clubs I can't go to anymore. And it's funny, like last night, my friend Alan, he's my roommate, you know, he was going to the Laugh Factory, and he just left, and I was like, oh, why did Alan not invite me? And then I started laughing. I was like, oh my God, you have to be vaccinated to get in there. And Alan is like, what we went through with you, Lila, at the Comedy Store. Let's not put ourselves
Oh,
through.
man.
And I was just like, wow, like I really can't go. And it's also just kind of awkward where it's like, okay, well, if I want to go, then I need to send in an email, like this paperwork work. And now they have that on file of me, of
That's
the
so
paperwork tracking,
icky.
you
Yeah.
know. I will say this. I have worked incredibly hard on my health. I have worked incredibly hard. You know, I take care of my body very well because I am a disabled woman. And when I was born, there's a lot of things doctors told me I'd never be able to do. And so I work hard every day to prove people wrong. And that's through feeding myself right, drinking lots of water, spending time with my plants, building the relationship with my family. You know, I went through a really, really dark depression during this pandemic time where you're just like, it was just so heavy. And like I said, I reached out to God, and it's like, what was I told? To heal the relationships with my family. My sister is
Wow.
calling me so much now. You know, we weren't talking this much before. And it's like, having that foundation is also what gives me more bravery. And we should be speaking up. I think the saddest part about it is when other comedians have told me, Lila, why don't you just get a fake vaccine card? It's not that hard. Just get a fake one. And it's like, well, I don't want to be a liar. I don't want to
Mhm.
be, I don't, and then also it's kind of like,
It shouldn't be coming to this.
it shouldn't be coming to
Yeah.
this. And also, it's like, as comedians, shouldn't we be speaking our truth? And if you have a problem with the vaccine card, shouldn't you be speaking up about it instead of, oh, you're not going to get
Hiding.
the
Yeah.
vaccine, you're going to pretend like you did? Then you're actually worse than the people who are saying that I am not vaccinated. You're amongst people pretending to be like you are, and it's just. I just think that I'm very surprised that there's not a lot more people speaking up about it. Like,
Yes, me too.
okay, even with Roast Battle being
Mhm.
canceled because people weren't vaccinated,
That's a big deal.
it's a
That's not
really
just like one comic. It's like if there were enough comics not vaccinated that they had to cancel the whole event, that says something.
yeah, and
And
it's
I'm agreeing so much with everything you're saying, Lila. Like it's invasive. They shouldn't like you're already so open about and I didn't like mention it when I was introing you because it's like I don't even think of that, but it's like it's a big part of your set having spina bifida, which like if folks don't know what that is, it's like I think it has something to do with like a
yes,
spinal cord.
it's when the spinal cord fails to form properly in the womb of a mother. So when you're born, I have spina bifida myelomeningocele, which is the third type, and it's the most severe. And so I've had back operations, and when, you know, doctors told my parents I'd never be able to walk, that I'd had learning difficulties, that when I was 13, that I'd have to look out for something called tethered cord syndrome. So even if I was able to walk, that I would lose the ability to walk at 13 while I was going through puberty. You know,
Oh,
so a lot of very scary things. And I became a comedian because I wanted to talk about this kind of stuff, and I was done hiding, you know, for a lot of years. I was very ashamed of it, and now I talk about it on stage so that I can help others, you know, with whatever they're going through. And because we all have something. Mine just happens to be something you can see when I'm walking around, you know. Mine just happens to be this disability, but I believe in freedom, and I believe in freedom of choice, and I believe that's why, like, my mom came to America. I'm Filipina American. My parents met when my dad was in the military, and he went to the Philippines. He's from Louisiana. My mom's from the Philippines. They're about to celebrate 31 years of marriage.
Aw.
You know, and I I just, with what happened at the Comedy Store, it was so baffling to me of just, wow, you know, wow, times have changed so much, you know, and
Yeah. And it's you had everything that you I mean, not only are you're dealing right with a disability, like something that people can see and everyone there knows you. It's like not that they should cut you slack, but you have every legitimate reason, plus paperwork for them to and I even was reading in because the same thing is going on in New York City. Like that's why I was like, I have to talk to her because right, Comedy Cellar, which I wasn't passed at yet, but like would go there often, have friends that I enjoyed supporting and watching there. And again, like very much all about buying drinks and supporting clubs. And I think they're beginning to do it at the Stand as well. Like they're still doing outdoor shows, but like in indoor shows, they were starting. So I'm starting to feel like, holy shit, you know, I made this very out post. I like beginning of August when de Blasio
yeah,
announced these mandates, and I dealt with the same thing. I was like, well, once it's out there, like I can't hide anymore. And same thing, people are saying, well, you can get the fake thing. I'm like, I don't want a fake thing. Like
I
if
don't
we
want
don't fight,
to.
if
Yeah.
we don't fight this, like
Where does
now
it
is the
go?
time to fight. Now is not the time to hide and be squirrely. And like exactly what you said, like we're comics, like we're supposed to be counterculture. We're supposed to like fight the system. We're supposed
We're
to like,
supposed to be making fun of
yeah,
these things. We're
yeah,
supposed to be making fun of it, you know? And the craziest part to me is like if you ask somebody, do you trust the government? They'll say no. Do you trust the media? They'll say no. But you got the vaccine right away and you're telling me that I need to get it right away. And here's the thing, how is it just one size fits all? I'm a 4'6", 75-pound woman with spina bifida and scoliosis and some other things going on with me that I don't want to publicly tell everybody everything.
nor
And
should,
you
yeah,
know, and
nobody's
it's like
business.
it's but I'm just supposed to just take this, and it's like I
Just to
have to
fit in,
I
yeah,
have to make my own decision that's good for me, just like you have to make your own decision that's good for you and your body with what you and your healthcare provider decides, right? And it's just like I take care of myself. I am healthy. I am very strong, you know, and it makes me feel so sad when I'm not being let into a club that I used to go out all the time because I'm seen as a liability, you know? And it's just like, it's really sad. And it's really sad that not a lot of comedians are speaking up about this because
yeah. A lot of them are
not right.
afraid.
It's
A lot
not
of them,
right to be mandating. It's not right
yeah.
to be forcing people to be doing things. And if you read the comments, some of them are heartbreaking. Like a girl, she wrote, I have spina bifida too, and I didn't want to get it, but I won't be able to go to concerts and I won't be able to go to comedy clubs, so I got it.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Like, and I was feeling the same way. I was like, my feelings on this are never gonna change. And I don't want to be part of the reason. It's like, right, individual us as comics, sure, there's ways you can like get around it. But again, I don't want to get around it, and I don't, and I owe it to like the fans and the audience members. Like, I don't want to be part of the reason why somebody feels pressured, bullied to get an injection in order to participate in like regular life. Like
In
you
life
shouldn't
that
have to
we can
you shouldn't have to like
participate in all the
yeah,
time,
you
you
shouldn't have
know?
to take an experimental injection just to have a night out. And I was like, I have to kind of be out about this. And once I was out about it, I felt a lot better. And of course, but I was and still am shocked at how few other comics. It's literally it's you and it's Tyler Fisher. And then what, Eric Clapton, there's so few people that are speaking out against this. And when you look at the statistics of who's hesitant and everything,
I
like
just
your
believe that
natural immunity is good
you should,
enough, better
if you
even.
if you want to get it, you should be getting it for the right reasons for
Yeah.
you, because you did your own research and you thought after you did your own research that this would be good for me, right?
Mhm.
And I should also be allowed that privilege. I should also be able to take a look at my body and what is works for me and make my own decision. And I shouldn't be bullied or made to feel bad or made to feel like I'm making people sick when I know I am so healthy. I'm so strong. I'm so mentally strong. I'm closer with my family and closer to God than I've ever been. And it's just ridiculous that I am not being let into a comedy club based on some
Bullshit. Yeah. It's based on uh yeah, based on it's a I don't know, it's a struggle for power right now, and they're seeing what
and
they
it's
can
like
get away with in big cities.
other people were upset with me. They're like, "Oh, you're going to Texas," like upset about that. And it's like, I want to be on a stage where I'm going to be welcomed because I've got a story to share and I've got a message to share and I'm going to make people laugh and I'm going to keep going with this. So I'm going to go where I'm welcome. So I got to commend you that you're out here and you're doing it and you're speaking up. And I'm really grateful that you invited me to be onto your podcast so we could have this conversation, because it is so important to speak up as comedians about this. And so thank you so much.
Oh god, of course. And it's really frustrating because I'm sure you dealt with for many years feeling different, feeling ostracized, everything that you go through when you have something big to overcome in your life. And like anyone who talks to you, like 2 minutes into this podcast, I'm like, this is one of the strongest women I've ever spoken to. Like you're literally glowing. You're full of light. Like you are somebody who loves themselves, has worked on themselves. Like you can tell you're connected to God, family, friends. Like you have your shit together, girl. You're a young, healthy person, and this is literally creating this is discrimination by health choice, by vaccine status, and you're walking up, you're a healthy person, no symptoms, no nothing, and the fact that it's really wrong, and it's a
With
really
the negative COVID
scary.
test, with the proper
Mhm.
documentation, I had the papers, and it's just like, even that alone to me is just that we're care. And but it's like, I even when I did it, it wasn't enough. And it's just they're just gonna. It just feels like they're just gonna keep extending it. And I don't like the idea of when they asked me if we could take this document, scan it, send it to. I was like, I don't want them to have my medical information. I don't.
Now you have a file. Yeah.
I have a file now. It's just so that's why I also was like, I'm just gonna out myself now that and let people know that hey, I am unvaccinated, and if that's okay with you, and you'd like to have me perform or at your show, then I can be there. But also know I'm not gonna have one of those vaccine cards. I'm not gonna have a fake one either. And I do have a medical condition, and I am, one of these anomalies. And also, regardless, it should be a choice. Regardless, it should be your choice. You do your own research, and after you've done your research, you've decided that this vaccine is for you and it's safe for you, then you take it. And after I've done my research and I've decided that with what I'm doing with my body and taking care of it is right for me, and I'm a healthy, strong woman, then that's the decision I'm going to make. But we should not be pushing each other into these little boxes and telling each other what we need to do, and also making assumptions about people completely and unfollowing them or not liking them anymore based on
Mhm.
just this thing.
Distancing yourself from them.
And
Oh, I'm gonna
that is
not
just the
associate. Mhm.
that's just the separation that they're trying to create. And we as comedians, we're supposed to be creating this unity by making fun of some of this stuff, right? And talking about it. That's the freedom of speech. It's like, what a great joke is? You make fun of both sides,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
you point out what's kind of bullshit in society and what is not right. Uh, and when you think about why these clubs are doing this, I mean, I've thought a lot about it myself because I respect and appreciate the ones that are still in business at this point. I get that they have to do what they think is right to stay in business, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I think it's I mean, I respect much more, like, the gyms that have stayed open and not required vax passes, not required tests, like a Tillis gym out in Jersey. They don't even charge memberships. They don't require you to show any kind of, passport or test, and I have more respect for businesses that, like, wanna take a stand and fight for their customers in a sense, but I also understand, like, they're probably scared and they
Yeah,
don't wanna go under.
yeah. And it's just like I said, the Ford Theater treated me wonderfully. They had no issue with it. And they were able to have me perform on stage, and it was a wonderful experience. It's just getting to the point where it's like I was just so shocked with what happened at the Comedy Store that I was like, I have to say something. I have to say something now. You have I have to speak up against it. I have to speak up because I saw your post of what you posted in August, and I liked it when you said that you were not going to perform at places that were going to require this. And I have to say, I looked at that and I was like, she's brave. She is brave because you are, you know, and it's hard to be like, it is a thing. You do have to be brave to like, I never thought I would get to that point where like I feel like I have to say I'm not vaccinated because there's a risk of upsetting people,
Mhm.
and like especially people I love and friends I really care about who I know feel very strongly about the vaccine, and it's like I still love them.
Yeah, you're not telling anybody not to get it, you're not telling anybody to do what you're doing, you're not pressuring anyone to do
But the thing
shit,
is,
you're
but
just
the
like, "This
thing is,
is my
it
life."
doesn't. It feels it's so extreme that even though I'm not doing that, just by
It
saying that I
people will take
haven't,
it. Mhm.
people are taking it as if I'm, just horrible. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's what makes me sad is that I still love my friends who've taken it, and I still love them. I still want to hug them, but I kind of have this little fear of like that. I don't know, but
Are they thinking that yeah, are they thinking, "Oh, well, she doesn't care about people. She wants to get people." It's all the bullshit stuff we've been hearing for a year and a half. "Oh, you're a super spreader. Are you okay with just killing people?" And it's wild. It's like it's horrible that people are even talking like this. It's horrible that you have to even pick a side. It's horrible that you have to be out. Like that is what's scary. It's like you're
yeah.
out there about your side and you don't know how many more people are going to follow you. Um
And that's why when that girl wrote that, I put that out there. It's so important too to let other people know that like, hey, you know what? Not everybody's gonna like you at the end of the day. Not everybody's gonna like you. But honestly, if you're hating on me, I just feel like you're an asshole, okay? Because you don't like joy and you don't like fun, and I'm just trying to bring people together. And if you don't like me, that's on you. But of course, it is kind of painful of like, wow, like this is just I can't believe this one thing that you found out about me has made you think differently of me completely.
It's because it's kind of a cult, like, and I feel for people who are in you know, we don't know what all someone's been watching, like, if you have been just watching there's people who leave CNN on in their house 24/7, like, if you've just been watching mainstream media every day for the last year and a half, like, I can understand you are worked up into a frenzy, and that's what's really so criminal about it, is that we have like probably millions of people who really think they're in much greater danger than they are. They
Yes,
are
everybody, a
outing
lot
their
of people
friends. Yeah.
people are living in fear.
Mhm.
People are living in fear, and I think even when I think about all that stuff, I'm like tapping into the fear, and I got to remind myself that no, you got to step into the light. You got to step into the light, and you have to just lead by example. And it's like it's okay if not everybody likes me. That's okay, but I'm still going to continue to lead by example and show through my life, my joy and my happiness and my health, and that is going to be what I'm going to do to do my part in the world.
Absolutely. And when I think like, "Oh shit, I've put this out there, I've limited myself, and I don't know if those doors will open up again," you'd like to think that all this bullshit is temporary. But when I when I do get into that headspace, I think like, okay, it really just is New York City and LA. Like there
No,
are so
exactly.
many states
And you know
where
what?
it's
You know what?
free.
In August, when I saw that post and thinking how brave you were, and then I was brave, and now we get to have this discussion, which I believe is so important. It's like, yeah, that's why you do it. That's why you be brave, because you might think there are doors that are going to be shut, but God is going to open doors you did not even imagine were
It's so
possible.
true.
And that is what I'm trusting. I'm trusting in God, and that He's going to open doors for me. And I'm going to Texas, and I'm going to step on stages, and I'm going to speak my truth, and I'm going to inspire people. I'm going to help people to be more brave and speak in their truth as well. And that's just what we have to do. Because
Yeah.
to
And
speak, because
mhm.
this is what freedom is about. It's about having these discussions, and like, what a beautiful thing that we're able to do right now on this podcast is to discuss this, and to have another woman here that I can speak to, that I admire and think is so damn brave for speaking up. And now I'm able to share this story with you. So
And that's the point, like, right? To make people feel less alone. And other comics who like haven't like come forward publicly who have expressed like their concerns. It feels good to be there for them. And same thing, like, what am I going to do? Should I not perform at this place? Like out of principle, should I perform, just outdoors, even though I can do that without a vax pass, even though they're requiring it indoors? And I would just say, like, no, like, just, do the outdoor shows. Just don't write off a place just because it's, the inside is requiring a vax. This is a hard time for everybody. And I think it's a hard time for the venue owners and bookers
yes,
too. But I figured, like I can make a stand. I can afford to miss these $25 spots here and there. Like so for me, it was worth it because the more people I talk to, the more I'm like, oh, most people are so scared to do it, to
yes,
say
that's what it
anything.
is. People are fearful, and you could see it in the comments. You can see people saying, "Oh, agreeing with certain things," or some people are vocal, but a lot of people are afraid, and that's what makes me sad about it. Especially the people who are doing certain things because they are mandating it. It's like you're not giving people enough time to do their research. When you're just
You're
saying,
coercing them.
you're
Yeah.
well, you're coercing them, you're giving them free cheeseburgers and free things, when it's just like,
Yeah.
that the thing that breaks my heart the most is, when did we ever see on the news to say, like, drink more water, get some sunshine, like, stop drinking alcohol, stop doing drugs, take care of yourself, reach out to your family, mend
Yeah.
relationships, work on that foundation? We don't hear that. And then you want to give people cheeseburgers and beers, and just like, I don't know. It just that's what makes me sad. But that also is what makes me feel like I have to keep going. We can. It's important to speak about this. It's important to yeah. Sorry, it gets me emotional.
No, I am sort of have been about to cry this whole podcast, so it's okay. And it's like we're not trying to like fuck with anybody's life. Like I deep down was like, I feel like this is wrong. I have to like it's that little nervous but like brave feeling you get like anytime, when every time I went to like different rallies or wanted to cover January 6th. It's the same feeling of like it feels scary, but I feel like I have to do this and show people what's really going on. And it
And
still
also
feels
because
scary.
I just feel like sometimes, people have this idea of what they think a certain person is like, or, what you're being told this side is like, or whatever. But it's like, what about people who really are in the middle, who really are just, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's kind of just like,
which is a lot of people.
which is a lot of people, and people are just afraid. People are just afraid. And like, it's also with the fake vaccine cards, that's a federal crime too. I'm not trying to go to jail for that. So I'd
Mhm.
rather just be honest.
Yeah, it really shouldn't come to this. And I don't know, I'm hoping that more entertainers, if they are on the fence or if they are feeling strongly pulled, like, yes, this is wrong and it's not letting up. I don't know. Maybe I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Maybe people need to hit their own kind of moment of rock bottom of like, oh shit, this is not going to let up until we say it stops. You can't just leave it up to other people. Like I was talking to my sister, who's a teacher in Vegas the other day. She's like, well, they're going to vote on the vaccine mandates for my school district tomorrow. And I was like, are you going to go? She's like, well, if I go and I speak out, then I'm on their radar and they know where I work. And now I'm like, and so she was like, I could see that she was like obviously scared and not going to be one of those people, right? Because we've all seen like the people who speak out, maybe they go viral, you know what I mean? And she's like, we're total opposites, she and I. And so I was like so pissed that she wasn't, because if I were her, I'd be fucking out there. I'd be like, let's make this go viral, bitch. No. And I could understand why she was pulling back. And what was underneath that was just she was so scared. And now the thing has passed. So, just it's never leave it to other people to fight for you.
Yes.
So
You have to use your voice and you have to speak up. And I'm really looking forward to moving to Texas and I've been in LA for since I just turned 30. I've been here since I was 21.
oh,
So,
oh my God, you're a baby. When are you moving to Texas?
In 2 weeks.
Ooh, was this like a
I'm gonna come
long
watch
time?
your show in Dallas.
We have to meet up because I'm going to be in
You're
Dallas
gonna be headlining, so
like in 2 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see you.
My God, I would love if you don't have a host or an opener. I would love to if we'll be there at the same time. No pressure. But yeah, we should hang or let's get Dales or something.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm excited. I just got engaged, and
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, your boo
Mhm.
is so cute. I was looking at your
Thank you so
Instagram.
much. Yeah, I'm just, I'm really excited to start this new chapter of my life. We have family in Louisiana and family in Texas, and I just want to get closer to my family and really, start going full head on with stand up and get on some stages that are going to welcome me. It's just that moment at the Comedy Store was just like, it is not going to change here anytime soon. And I just all of the comedy clubs and the majority of the top comedy clubs are requiring a proof of it to get into the venue. And yeah,
When did you make this decision?
well, it was in August. We were already starting to talk about it, because it was kind of getting to that point where we were just seeing that they are starting to mandate stuff. And with my medical condition, like, I can't get the vaccine. So it's just, I can't stay in a place where they're going to do that. It's like, yes, I can go through all the paperwork and do all of the exemptions and all of that. But then again, I feel like that's super invasive with my medical history. And I don't really like
Why
having
do
that
that
on
when
file
you can
at
have
different
freedom? Yeah.
comedy clubs, So, that's why we're going. But most importantly, I'm going to be able to be closer to my cousins, especially since they just lost their mom. My cousin, she's only 27 years old, and my other cousin's
Ugh.
43. My aunt was only 54.
Oh
So
my God.
um, I want to be closer to them. And that's
Yeah.
part of the reason.
It's a good time to go.
And
It's
I also just feel like it was such a moment for that to happen at the Comedy Store. It was just kind of like, okay, God telling me like I need to go. And also, I have another funny story for you. This about 10 days before my show, right? Me and my fiance and our roommate, we decided to go hiking the Hollywood sign. And we do the hike. It's called Up to the Wisdom Tree. And it's very like mountainous hike. As we're leaving our townhouse, I didn't bring my phone or my wallet. I was just like, let's just like be in nature, like be immersed in nature. And my fiance, he didn't bring his phone or his wallet. Our roommate brought his, but we'll tell you what happened. So we go on this hike. We get up to the top of Hollywood sign, and then we're kind of going through the neighborhoods. And I realized that, oh my gosh, when I did this hike 3 years ago, I ended up calling an Uber because I got so lost. Well,
oh no.
yeah. So our roommate, his phone ends up dying. So he goes one direction and he's like, I'll find you guys if I find the car. And we go another direction. And so we start walking, and we're walking down Franklin, and we see these Samaritans, and we ask them for their phone if we can see how far it is to get from our house to from that location to our house. And it's like a 14-mile walk. All right. So we're like, we're just gonna walk home, and we're walking, and we stop and talk to a couple police officers. We asked them if they could give us a ride like up the hill, or and they let us know that they can't because they're doing like traffic stops. And I'm like literally letting them know we're about to like walk up the freeway, right? And they're like, well, just be safe. And I'm just
Right,
like,
gee, thanks.
wow. And so here's the funniest part. We're walking, and I'm telling my fiance, like, oh, someone's gonna recognize me. Like, someone's gonna recognize me, and a friend will pick me up. And he reminds me, he's like, Lila, a lot of people have left here. So don't be surprised when no one picks us up. Okay. So we're like walking on the freeway. Like I'm like going in where like the homeless people encampments are. And I'm like holding onto the
Oh, no.
guardrails. At one point, I see this like sign for the Ford Theater, and I look across the way because it's across the street from the Hollywood Bowl. I'm like, I'm performing there in 10 days, and I'm walking home all the way to my house, and we're passing by all these like homeless encampments. And I was just thinking like, wow,
Keeping you humble.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, God really wants me to see LA. Like, do you want to stay here? Do you want to be in a place where not one single good Samaritan is stopping by to pick you up, where the police are just telling you be safe up there, but they're not offering you a ride when you clearly told them that you're a lost hiker from the Hollywood sign, which we're already really far away. So we left on this hike at 3. I did not get home till 10 o'clock at night.
Oh my gosh.
And let me tell you,
He was just starving.
let me just tell you, to me, this was like God preparing me for the show, because I did 20 minutes on that stage, and you're running around back and forth. Girl, I got my cardio in that day because I was walking those 14 miles. So on the day of the show, I could like move around so much. It was amazing. But it was like, God was like, you have to see this place. You have to see this place one more time, Lila, because things are going to be different in Texas. And I'm excited for people to be like kind, and for I want to have a baby, and I want to start my life. So and the funny thing is, this is what I think is going to happen. The funny thing is when I leave LA, that's when they'll fly me and pay me to come out here. Ironically, that's when that'll happen. But I just feel like I have to take this leap of faith. And having that experience at the Comedy Store, which is like the final like push of like, you need to get the hell out of here if they're not even allowing you to just enter in the little like bar area. And
like, this city is gonna dim your light at every turn.
Here's the thing. I understand, you have to do your protocols and whatnot, but it's also just like, really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just wow. And yeah, I'm excited, and I have to say I really commend you for your bravery. You're out here, you're doing it, and you're having discussions about it, and it really was an honor and a privilege to be on your podcast. And
thank you for giving. I can't wait to have you back. We'll have you back when you're like settled in Texas and crushing it over there, and then you're going to be not available because you'll be too famous.
Oh my gosh, no, I'll be available for you, girl. We're friends.
Okay, good. Lila, anything to plug, promote? Where can people find you and follow you, and any other shows coming up? Well, you're moving, so
I'm moving. So once we settle out, I'm like, that's why I'll be reaching out to a lot more places. But you guys can find me at lilahart.com. That's LILAHART.com, and that will lead you to everything that I'm working on and doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing it. This seems just like everything is pointing you towards time to start fresh, start a new life, go somewhere where you can like thrive, and I think that's going to be Texas for you. Do you know what part, if it's like Dallas or more Austin area?
Yeah, we're in the Lake Worth. It's in Fort Worth.
Like in
Dallas.
That's a great area. Oh, you're going to be so happy. Oh my God. I have to come visit.
Yes, come visit. It's going to be fun.
All right. Thank you so much, Lila. Thank you, chat. Thanks for all the comments, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.